Hello everyone, this is Enchanted LifePath TV. Just over on the website where I'm continuing to write this article about Burning Man and just other connecting rituals such as Maui, etc. And I just want to send your attention over onto the map work which I started doing, which pointed out a pentagram within the grounds of Burning Man. So what we see here is a pentagon shape. The pentagon shape. Now within the pentagon we fit the pentagram. So I have now depicted that better for us here in Google Earth Pro. Let me get rid of that circle. Moment now. So we see that there. The pentagram star inverted, upside down. So just want to bring in the goat's head alignment. That also brings in magic circles. We see it forms another pentagon shape middle here where the goat's sort of skull and eyes are. Tip of it, chin comes down to the very bottom here. Now we see its horns up here in this part of the star, and that's what I want to draw the attention to now, its horns. And that's because if we look at this area here where the yeah, 1 second, I need to turn that off and put these on. And then I'm just going to turn off the Instagram, right? And that line as well can go off. Yeah. So what we're looking at now is what we see in Burning Man, in the layout of Burning Man, is all of this area here. See this? Where there's like some structures. This is the city basically where all the people sort of stay, build all the little structures, and then they showcase all the structures etc. out here and sort of drive around on all sorts of stuff, whatever they do. But my attention is drawn to this area, and that's because this area is signposted and street signs by times of the day. Now over on the article there's a strong emphasis on gateways, doorways, or like maybe even portals if you want, and certainly well that's what it is basically within the ritual and stuff like this. And also time as well. Now time is depicted within this a lot through certain aspects, but one of them is Saturn. Now Saturn is obviously the god of time, Kronos, who devours his own children as the story goes, etc. So, and then these little sort of gateways and doorways and keys, etc., keyholes, is another ongoing theme within this. Like, look at this, this is on Aventine Hill, that's an actual keyhole on this door that looks right the way through to Basilica's, St. Paul's Basilica, St. Peter's Basilica, sorry. And this is that keyhole. So can you look at these alignments, and they're starting to pop up everywhere like this. Now this brings me to here, so that's why I was looking at this, because it's time, it's showing me time. And then I'm thinking, time and space and Saturnalia worship. There's a lot pointing in here towards like Babylon and Nimrod, etc. right down the bottom. Nimrod is another name for Saturn. So again, it's one of the constant themes right the way through this. So what I want to draw your attention to, if we sort of just have a little look at that photograph there for a moment, and then let's jump back into the map. So when it's done, what I've done is I've done the outer circle and the inner circle, and then draw this blue line which comes down, as you can see here, along the edge of the city, sort of the area where they all build all the things, there's little stalls and all sorts of stuff. What houses the 70,000 basically. That's another theme in this. Well, the 70,000 obviously, Exodus, etc. You'll be quite shocked some of the things which we have actually got on together now on the, say we, like, I mean I have done it all, but I just mean the audience who are watching and the people who are going to read the article. So I've done these 2 blue lines down the edge of the street just to bring in this area more. So if you follow the blue lines, if you imagine that for a moment this sort of part of the blue circle isn't here, but this is, and then it's followed all the way around this part. Now the reason why I've done that, just let me bring the pentagram in again, is because when we see the horns, like I said, you've got these 2 horns here, but then what I'm seeing is on this pentagram is like a second set of horns, like a ram, okay? So that's just another form of Satan, a ram. We know that ram is another one of the deities that is Satan, basically another one of the horn deities. You've got ram, you've got Pan, etc. Quite a few of them, as I'll show you now on the article. Just briefly, I won't go into too much detail, because we've got to go. Back up. By the top of the pentagram. So, yeah, look. There's maybe just without all the lines on there, so you can just see the structure what I'm talking about, but it's now inverted into fitting this in. So here is Pan, got horns. We see before we get to the video, you may also notice how the goat-headed Satan also appears to have inverted horns, which is what I'm showing you on pictures down below. With the 2 upper points being more like traditional Satan horns, but the second set gives the effect of ram's horns. Probably go on now just to talk about Census. The image above is of Pan, who is the Greek god of nature, and the cult of Pan followers partake in twisted perversions that include bestiality as well as sacrifice. So Pan has the legs and hooves of a goat as well as horns, which are often shown in the shape of ram's horns as well. See, so that's why I'm just pointing this out as well. Now the Roman equivalent of Pan is Faunus, the Egyptian is Sinunos. The Egyptian god Amon-Ra was depicted with ram horns. This is a Baphomet satanic goat head, which also depicts Ram, another horn deity accredited to Satan. So this is that video from earlier when I first posted the pentagram up after I'd done the map work just in Google here. But since then I've added this part of this element with the circle, and still got to do another little element of map work around this structure here, show you how it sort of repeats again up there. But if we do, just while I'm here a moment, if we do have a look at this bigger area, we see like in effect magic circles, and then when we're looking up here at this location, the way it says it all repeats again. Remember I was saying about these rays here, the 13 rays, and then you've got the 14th one, which is like the cutout for the magic circle, which then offers the occultist and witchcraft participants protection. So that's why I'm showing you here the magic circle and talking about the magic circle just in here, for instance. But it's what's in the layout again here, which is now going to take us to the next part, as you can see. So I was highlighting this area to show you the ram's horns, but then it's when I draw these 2 blue lines here and here that I started to stumble onto the next thing, which I'm going to be talking about right now, which is the point of this video. This gets quite weird now. So what we've got is what may also depict another winged disc, okay, here. He's just here, just very simple winged disc, right? But what we also see, if this was a clock, if this circle here was a clock, this was something like, now this would be 40 on the clock. You'd have like 45 here, or 9, and this here would be number 4 or 1600 on the, if you're just talking in a 24-hour clock, but number 4. So what I'm left with then is 2 numbers, 4 and 40. If we add the 2 numbers together, we get 44, which is half of 88, a number which we've been going on about forever. And also 44 is a sacrifice number, as I say on the article. Julius Caesar was stabbed in the back in 44 BC, etc. 88 constellations. So this is just a numbers game which starts to go and play, but it's not that route which you took with it, because what I've done then is I taught about the 440 frequency versus the 432 frequency. Now we know that the 432 frequency is the God frequency, and basically all music and all tuning and everything, a lot of the frequencies which come out of that things, that turns into 440 hertz, which is then away from the God frequency, obviously, and everything's all distorted. For example, if you do the thing where you sort of put a load of rice on top of a speaker and play music at 432 hertz, it comes out all like nice and in nice little shapes, like perfect snowflakes. But if you start doing it with 440, what you get is distortion, mess, chaos. So that just shows you the power of the frequency 432 versus 440. So what I'm seeing here on this clock, 4, and then the other side here, 40. So that's what I started looking towards then, thinking, what's going on here? This 440 stuff. So what I ended up doing was, while I was looking for the 440 connection to Saturn, what I often like to talk about when in the past when I've done this sort of work, this sort of research, I've spoken about 440 a couple of times and found a connection to that and Saturn. Now that's what I was looking for, but it was upon looking for that I stumbled on this next thing now, as we're going to see. So what I've done was, while I was looking around, I thought, let's go and look at the number 440 over in Strong's Bible Hub. Okay, and when I was in there, we see, I'll just come into the website for this part just because it's a little bit bigger. Right, we see here, right, 440 in Strong's Bible Hub is associated to the word anthrax. You will not believe this, right? So we've got the obvious connection to the number 40, which is the deluge, the Great Flood. 40 lasted 40 days and nights, and there's the 440 in there, 4 and 40. Okay, so there's the number 40. So that's just why I've just put a little explanation in for the number 40 for you. But then where we start going to now just goes madness, like you've just seen. Anthrax. Okay, now you won't believe what happens here. So I searched for 440 to see what it brought up, and this is what I was met with: anthrax. But it does not end there. As well as being the name of a military grade nerve agent, a disease for cattle that can also harm humans, the word anthrax also, that should say and. I've got loads of tabs open, so my computer has slowed down a little bit. It's been on. Right? For cattle that can also harm humans. The word anthrax also means coal, charcoal, and then burning. Okay, get on this, look. So anthrax, definition: coal, charcoal. Then we see Bible verses connected. So I just find this ironic that we're now seeing 440 connected to anthrax, and then the word coal. So we're seeing disease and fire as well. Okay, so we see references to coals on his head as well. So just that sort of starts making me think of like coals, like Burning Man, just coals on his head. But so we see some references to this scripture, which are also all these images. When I do finally publish this article for you, link through to the original sources. Wait there one sec. So I also find it even more ironic that we are now seeing the number 440 connected to coal and fire and burning when observing occult connections to Burning Man. I added the KJV verse that we see in the screenshot. It speaks of defeating evil with acts of kindness, overcoming evil with good. Remember, these images have links through to the original sources. So here is that phrase, therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. And pretty much the rest of this message here all just says the same thing, just in a different way of saying it. So the word anthrax appears in the National Library of Medicine, where a study claims that anthrax is possibly the 6th of the 10 plagues of Egypt. This is another huge biblical reference to Egypt that has also taken us towards talking about the 70,000 at Burning Man, and the story in the Bible about God killing 70,000 men after a census was performed against his wish, and that was in relation to David. So we will get to that shortly. Now look at this. This is from the, I'm sure, is this one from the CDC? Or the National, yeah, no, it just says, hasn't it? This one's from the National Library of Medicine. I know there is a source on here from the CDC, sadly, but I do put the word corrupt in there. Right, so what's the illness known as anthrax is very rare in the West. In developing countries, relatively significant number of cases are found, particularly in animals. However, biological terrorist attacks could also cause it to spread. In Hebrew, the illness is now called Gahaleh or Gamareth. The purpose of this paper is to examine whether the illness is described in the Bible, and if so, to present that description and provide a broader survey of the features of the illness. The word Gahaleth appears in the Bible, but not indicating a disease, while the source of Gamareth is in the Talmud. Then we see the highlighted section here now, which reads, in the Bible, Shaheen is mentioned as the 6th of 10 plagues in Egypt, and also the disease that affected Job. In the natural cause of the condition, as described in the Bible, matches the clinical symptoms of anthrax as we know it today. The Hebrew Language Academy is therefore advised to adopt the findings of this paper and confirm the name of the illness in Israel, Shaheen. So you can see there, again, that does link through the source. So anthrax, as mentioned earlier, is also a bioweapon. Here is the corrupt CDC talking about anthrax. The whole fake excuse for the war on Iraq was because the US and UK governments lied and lied beyond belief in 2004, I think it was, but I'll check that date. So they did so by saying Saddam Hussein had the ability to generate anthrax attacks from mobile bioweapons labs within 45 minutes, as if we could ever forget. So here's just a little pointer towards that as well. And then we come to this. Look, this is a screenshot from the website burningman.org. It is linked in the image again, the thing. So look, this, I'm just up to like where I'm putting notes in again now and then just fatting them out as I go along. That's why these like sort of little notes are in here and other little subjects for me to study, so I don't really forget. But anyway, so we haven't started on, well, I've basically just started on this part now, but there's enough here and it's late, so I can get this done and this section done, basically this video, and then get myself to bed. But pay attention to this now, because we're thinking about all this what we've heard about Exodus and everything, and what we see here, we've just seen the plagues as well, speaking about the 10 plagues and anthrax being the 6th plague. Now look at the imagery here, as I've just said, from the blackrock.org website, and we're seeing this census, this shape, when it's on its side like a letter C, and then we've got a moon in the middle. Don't like that one bit, and you've got like sort of a crown shape here. Look, can you see what I mean? If not, as some sort of planetary alignment maybe, and just with these tips. But this is what I'm talking about now, census. Now look what happened So David showed 70,000 dead. Now we're seeing a number, obviously 70,000 all over this burning rock thing. So what happened? What's the number 70,000 got to do with the Bible? Right, 70,000 ended up dead because David performed this census, and obviously against God's will. So God gave David a choice of 3 things, like 3 days of pestilence and famine and stuff, or like a sacrifice. There was 3 things that he gave them a choice for, and he couldn't pick, so God picked for him, and God just killed 70,000 soldiers. Now look, David sent Job out to take the census, and after 9 months and 20 days, Job came back with the results. There were 800,000 sword-yielding men in Israel and 500,000 in Judah. 9 months and 2 days takes my attention because the pentagram perimeter of Burning Man, the pentagon shape, is 9.2 miles. So I'm just seeing these numbers in here. That was just a bit of a note, that one. No, just take note of that. Wonder what I was going right into next. So here what we're seeing, just another link from Strong's Bible, and it's so the Lord sent a pestilence upon Israel from the morning even to the time appointed, and there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. Okay, so we're seeing 70,000 men linked into the Bible. And what else have I got? And then we know that the Exodus centers around the Israelites leaving Egypt, which is also going to sort of come to play within this region as well, most notably up here in this region where we see that story getting told again. But the number 70,000 there just explains again, and 440 linking back to Anthrax and coal, it just thinks absolutely nuts. And yeah, that's where I'm up to so far, just for a couple of updates. I don't think there's anything else which it's on. I don't want to give it too much or go on too much until it's all done basically, but yeah, that's just a little couple of notes as to where me thinking is taking me just on my travels. And yeah, so thanks for watching. As soon as the article's done, I will publish it, you will all know, and I'll do a video etc with all the information then. But yeah, this is Enchanted LifePath TV. Watching.